Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Doom Scroll podcast because doom scrolling is more fun with friends. I know we can't really help ourselves, and it's probably not best for our mental health to continue to do this at this point. But, gotta stay informed and we're in it together. So, Calvin, how's it going? Um, you know,
It's going. We've managed to make it another week, so I guess that's a positive.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's going as good as it can be in the world that we live in. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, same. I forgot to, kind of touch on what we're going to cover, but just for a little brief overview, I feel like people probably already know what we're going to talk about because it's like, how could we not? But, the continued, investigation into the Charlie Kirk shooting, new theories, conspiracy theories. I mean, I feel like every theory is allowed to be a theory at this point because we don't know anything. So, can conspiracy theories actually exist if we don't have a fucking clue of what is actually happening? I don't know because the FBI has done absolutely shit at this. So, we'll keep going on that later. And then the whole labeling trans people as terrorists. So, that's a fun one. Part of me makes I kind of want to laugh. Part of me is like, what the fuck? And then we have Jimmy Kimmel and him getting fired or suspended from, his talk show on
Hmm.
ABC. We'll go into details about that again more later. And then, last but not least, we have the supposed rapture that is supposed to happen on Tuesday. So, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry you didn't make the cut, or sorry, not sorry, because this got released after the 23rd. But yeah, outside of that, I think it's really hard to just keep living your life and working and doing your day to day basics without like just thinking everything is crumbling and it's something every day. And I'm over here like, I have to show up on the internet. I am an online fitness and nutrition coach, and it just feels weird to. It feels weird either to talk about what's going on or to not talk about what's going on. Uh, I'm all like talking about macros and calories, and then we've got like freedom of speech, disappearing, and it just man. It's conflicting, but we have to like
Yeah,
pretend we can just keep going forward because we gotta do our jobs and it's 10 times rough. It's like ADHD on crack. So,
yeah.
have you noticed that?
No, absolutely. I feel like it's not to be depressing, but it's been like kind of what's the point? It feels like everything is getting worse and worse, and it's hard to like enjoy the fun things that are happening just because of this massive umbrella of negativity that's kind of happening. But you're right. We kind of just have to hold on to hope that something's going to change. I think really what we need is just more community support, and I feel like I'm not getting that, but I feel like there's not enough out there for what's going on. So it's a little sad, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
still gotta pay bills and survive. So you kind of just
Yeah.
have to compartmentalize when you can.
Yeah. It's a little community is so important. And then you think, well, if we start doing meetups and go to actual, trans meetup groups and they classify us as terrorists, is that going to be like it sounds so fucking ridiculous and it sounds not real. But we'll go into a little deeper later of how they want it to be real, essentially.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait to start my full trans Dungeons and Dragons party because that's just gonna be a flag right there.
Oh man. Yeah. It's wild. It is a wild fucking time we are living in. So, do you want to start with the first topic, diving back into our internet sleuthing of the Charlie Kirk shooting? If you have, do you want to do a quick recap? Should I do, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I can do it.
Go for it.
So if you missed last last week's episode, or if you've been just away from the internet and power and people for like the last 2 weeks. Kirk was shot. Charlie Kirk was shot during a Utah Valley University event that was on September 10th. Suspect Tyler Robinson is in custody, charged with murder. Basically, texts have been released from Robinson to his partner, who the media is saying is a trans woman, or a person who is in the process of transitioning. They haven't really. It sounded like they haven't really transitioned yet, or like they haven't fully transitioned. They're in the starting stages, if that's true. And I believe they still they haven't changed their name or anything. But it looks like there's skepticism across the board because there's no proof of that. Bullet casings had anti-fascist engravings, not trans-specific, pointing to online subcultures like Discord radicals. CNN debunked fake photos and leftist plot of evidence of broader involvement. NPR says the motive's complicated, possibly tied to Kirk's anti-trans rants, but suspects politics are murky. Basically, he's from a very conservative family, and I believe was also a registered Republican in the last election. I believe I saw that. I don't know if that's still.
I think he was registered as like independent or something.
Okay.
So not Democrat or Republican. Yeah.
And basically last week on the 18th, there was a huge memorial for Charlie Kirk in Phoenix. Thousands showed up. Trump, Bannon, and Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke. Kind of doubled as a rally. I don't know. It's been a crazy week. What do you think about it, Cody?
Yeah, and then today, of course, there's the big, massive memorial. And I've been trying to stay off the internet. I don't want to fall into kind of watching that today at the moment. I'm sure I'll see clips and stuff later. But yeah, it's wild. So yeah, there's a lot of theories out there. I think the interesting part is, well, gosh, I have so many thoughts, but I really do not like how they jumped straight to the conclusion that this person is not only left-leaning, but that their partner is trans, and like that was the motive, because we really don't know still much about this partner. Are they actually trans? Who said this? Where is this information coming from? And have they started medically? Because a lot of the times we got the conservatives that are saying it's the hormones' fault, ban HRT, blah, blah, blah. But their definition of trans is way different. Like, I was reading the little paper document they put out from the Heritage Foundation about wanting to classify trans community ideology as a terrorist group. And one of the supposed shooters that they listed as a trans shooter was like, wore lipstick. Like, seriously? That doesn't mean they're trans. Like, come on. But yeah, I think it was super damaging, more dividing that they jumped on that train. But it also did not unite the right like they thought it was going to. It did at first, but now. So Candace Owens, I'm not sure if you've been kind of following her,
Yeah.
which sounds so fucking weird that like
Yeah.
I would ever like be watching her to find out.
I
what
think
she
this
is.
could be the closest sign to Revelation or to the rapture is the fact that I've been seeing videos from Candace Owens that I agree with.
Yeah, people on
I'm
the
more
left
terrified of that. Yeah.
are putting her videos out, and that is very interesting. But she also said something, and here, look, I'm not giving Candace Owens like this tremendous amount of credit or anything, because at baseline we still know she's transphobic. She doesn't like trans people. That is given. She spent like the last year trying to figure out if Macron's wife had a dick. So it's Obviously, she's not on our side particularly, but
Mm-hmm.
I think she kind of had a come to Jesus moment and realized both sides are fucked up. And she said in one of her little lives, she's like, this is not left, this is not right, you know, this is,
Elitist versus
essentially,
us.
yeah. And she talked about the money issue, and I'm like, thank you, yes, like this is it exactly. They're trying to pit us against each other, and so like the rich people can just take control of everything and just be like, huh, these little minions down here are fighting with each other. This is
Mm-hmm.
hilarious, you know. I almost feel like we're in an episode of Squid Games where like they have the lights like watching people basically kill each other for money.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is what is happening right now. Like the US is the Squid Games, and we're all in it competing for money, trying to get our life together. And then we got the rich people just standing back laughing, watching us, fight and try to kill each other in order to survive or have a better life. And it's awful. But she has a theory that it was basically uh, there's a few. She says she thinks it was like a sacrifice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like she hasn't specifically said Israel, but she kind of has like
Hinted at it.
insinuated a
Mm-hmm.
bit. But I think there's still some speculation of it being potentially like inside job, potentially Israel's involved. Like there's a few little
Mm-hmm.
things, but right now it just seems like she's trying to get to the bottom of it because she should have been hired as the FBI director. She's done more work and research than Kash Patel has, um, and has gotten a few little pieces of evidence, and that the FBI has not either gotten or released or whatever. And she even said that she doesn't think it's the trans thing, and I was like my mouth literally dropped. I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
Candace Owens is not jumping on the hate the trans train.
Mm-hmm.
This is different. This is very different. So I've just kind of watching it unravel. I know there's a lot of other people on the left that have been listening to her, watching, seeing what she has to say because she was a close friend of Charlie's.
Mm-hmm.
And they, what I was, there was a child right in front of my window, and it's very strange. I'm like, oh, hello, little child. Um, so yeah, I think she's the one that has kind of caused the rift between the MAGA base of not having it unite them as much as they wanted because of what she has been saying. And there are some people on the MAGA side that are very, very angry with her. And there are some that agree with her. So it's interesting, and I'm seeing more and more people agree with her. The more and more, or the less and less, uh, the evidence makes sense. Like the texts that were released, for example. Did you see those?
Dramatic ChatGPT soap opera of text. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw it.
I saw those for the first time. Like I was just getting out of a ketamine session. I
Mm-hmm.
was
Oh, that
still
must have been
like,
fun to read.
oh yeah, I was high as fuck, and I still was like, this is not real.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to be sober to know that this was like fucking fake as hell. So I think that was like the biggest red flag for a lot of people. I don't think I've seen anyone besides maybe like a few people that want to believe those texts are real,
Mm-hmm.
but the majority of people are like, what is this? Like
Yeah.
a
Anyone
22-year-old
who,
doesn't talk like this.
yeah, I mean, the people that are still going to believe it are the people that aren't going to believe no matter what evidence you put in front of it. Like you could literally show them a video of someone else committing the murder, and they'd be like, "Nope, that's fake," you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Yeah.
very. I mean, I would be more surprised out of anything if that was real. If that's really how someone was texting each other, that's more shocking to me.
Yeah. Like 100% it is not real. Someone who's 22 years old does not call someone my love. Even if they did, they also don't say things like vehicle, quad
Mm-hmm.
car.
Mm-hmm.
They don't use perfect grammar and punctuation. They even use someone, said yeah with YEAH. Like no
Mm-hmm.
one texts like that. It's either YA or YEA at most.
Yeah. I mean, I text like that, but I am also like in my 30s. you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't text like that. I'm in my 30s. Like, spelling is important to me, but
Mhm.
I don't say yeah with a YEAH. I don't say vehicle when I'm going in my car.
Yeah, yeah.
And neither
Definitely not
does
squad
he.
car.
Because, no. And there was a new video that was released where he was involved in a car accident. So you can hear him speak. And they have the dash or the body camera from the cop, and you see him talking. And guess what he calls his vehicle? He calls it a car.
Hmm.
So that's where you know for fucking sure that those weren't his words. So whether it was like made up evidence or it was made up between him and his roommate to try to throw police off, which I feel
Hmm.
like they're smarter and they would have done a better job at talking how they talk. I want to see their previous text messages. How did they talk to each other previously before all of this went down? Was did they talk like that? Because that's fucking
Yeah.
weird. Uh,
I also
there's
saw
just so many things. Sorry.
yeah, I also saw another video of a guy who was breaking down basically what the cops said had happened, and so like I don't know if it's changed since then, but as of that video, he was talking about the cops said that the shooter had a little like mini screwdriver, assembled the gun, fired it, disassembled the gun, jumped off the roof, and then reassembled the gun back in the woods. But the problem is he left the screwdriver on the roof.
Oof. Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense if that's the weapon, because how did he reassemble it?
And then the other reason is why. And I think I saw some things going around being like, oh, because he planned to kill himself. And it's just like, why wouldn't he just kill himself on the fucking roof?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go into the forest and do it in private. No. Or if you want to die, stand up right there and let them shoot you. Like, bam, done. It just, none of it makes sense. Even if he had a second screwdriver, it doesn't make sense. So, we're just seeing so many holes in the story. And then also of like where the bullet ended up. Like they said that they found it in his neck. And, they're saying with the caliber of, rifle or whatever that they use, there's no way that
His head would
happened.
be gone, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like been a lot of flip flopping. Like, oh, he was wearing body armor, it bounced off the armor, and it slowed it down, and that's why. I mean, it hit him in the neck, but that's why it stopped, and it didn't, blow his head off. Or like, but then at other points they're saying he wasn't wearing body armor, and there's people that are there that saying he wasn't wearing it, and there's just so many things that you feel like could be confirmed, have not been confirmed whatsoever. And I think the latest thing that I've been seeing floating around a lot is that they're starting to say that the neck shot was actually an exit wound, like he was shot from another direction, and then like that was the exit. But we don't know. Like someone else could have gotten hurt if that was the case. Like where did it go? Why would the FBI or whatever say they found it in his neck? But I did just see Kash Patel release a tweet saying that they are looking into all of the theories. Like he listed off all of the things, including being shot from a different location, different direction than the one on the roof that they've been thinking. So, at
He's
least.
looking at it. He's looking at different theories. So when we prove that this theory isn't right, he can be like, "Oh, it was a trans shooter in the back of the building."
His trans Uber driver that
Yep.
drove him to school that day. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, so all the theories so far from what I know. Let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm missing anything. So we got the first theory. We got Tyler Robinson. He's a lone wolf. He took out Charlie Kirk because of his, stance on trans people. Didn't like it. Took him out. He's got a trans boyfriend, whatever. Girlfriend, I don't know, whatever. And that was his motive. Done deal, blah. Yeah, don't think so. Theory two, he is a groiper. So basically, Charlie Kirk is not conservative enough for him. And if he does have a trans boyfriend, it's actually something or someone they refer to as a femboy. Essentially, it's that they hate women so much that they actually just have femboys that they couple with or have sex with instead. And I think it's just because they can't get women. The Groiper theory about, because Nick Fuentes had a beef with Charlie Kirk. It's been a thing. I didn't know it was a thing until now, but apparently it was. So there's that. And then there's the uh, it was an inside job kind of situation. Like he's a sacrifice. Trump needed a distraction from the Epstein files, and yeah, that might also be kind of connected to the point of Israel, or any other foreign. It could be another country, even. So I think those are all. Am I missing something?
I think those are the ones I've heard, that he's a Groiper, and then that either it was an inside job from the U.S. or an inside job from Israel.
Yeah, or maybe a little bit of both. Teamwork. Yeah, I think it's also suspicious considering they immediately went to the trans narrative. Like it started with the bullets, and that wasn't at all. We had a little break where like, oh, thank God. And then it was like, oh, he has a trans roommate. I'm like, are you for fucking real? And yeah, so basically, we just don't have a lot of information right now. I think Candace Owens is the one that's on top of it the most. She wasn't even invited to his big memorial today, at the what stadium was it at? Do you know where it was? Is it in Arizona, or was that the other one?
That was the other one.
Okay.
She wasn't invited.
No.
I've seen a lot of videos too of people referencing that she was his like side piece.
Well, they were definitely friends. Okay, so it is in Arizona. Yeah. And so people, so Candace, she toured with him for Turning Point USA for like 2 years, and she recently toured with him like a year ago. But people are saying that he had a quiet breakup with her in the sense of like friendship and was trying to distance himself from her. And so what she's saying is bullshit, but she has receipts to prove otherwise. So it's just kind of interesting to watch the right kind of fight over amongst each other. But I'm just kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot of people calling her a liar, and she's just trying to get attention and clicks, but she's got nothing to gain from this. So I'm just kind of like, do you think she really wants the whole Republican Party to hate her? That's not a thing that I would see Candace Owens doing voluntarily. So I'm not gonna say I'm a Candace Owens fan. This is just one moment in time where it's like she's not being as awful as the other awful people. That's all.
She's asking honest questions too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions, and it was, they were friends. They were close friends. So we'll kind of just continue to see what unravels. Like, what theory do you think is most likely?
Honestly, I don't know, because I feel like everything that makes sense to me is so like it's like a movie, like what they're pushing doesn't make sense to me, but what does make sense to me is so far out there that you don't want to believe that that's real, because then you're getting into like script territory. Like in my head, I definitely could see this being either just Israel or an Israel and US combination. Charlie Kirk had just started recently kind of speaking against Israel or mentioning the word genocide and kind of backing off of his stance with that. I believe he also, I don't know if he wasn't going anti-MAGA, but did he not have like moments where he was going against the Trump administration on some things recently?
I think it was
Or was
more
it
recent
just
with
Israel?
Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're getting that. So I could see them either hiring someone and just, putting the blame on someone else. I also think it's convenient that the guy that got the suspect, his father turned him in and got is getting a $1 million reward
Yes,
for for
supposedly he turned it
so
down,
well, I
but
mean,
did he? You know?
exactly, so this, I mean, this all should have been the family like agreeing to do it, and sacrificing the son for it. I think this he would be in on it too. My family's gonna get $1 million. Maybe they're gonna do a Jeffrey Epstein type thing where it looks like I get murdered, but I just get released under a new name and new passport. Like, I mean, it's so wild, but that makes more sense to me than what they're saying happened.
Yeah, and I was talking to Des last night about how they had more solid evidence in the O.J. Simpson case to connect him to this murder. You know, they don't have a lot. I don't even know that they have enough to convict him at this point because they don't have like they don't have the actual bullet, right? Or maybe they do now. Like I haven't seen that confirmed though.
Hmm.
But also they have nothing that connects him specifically to the one who pulled the trigger. Like he could be involved in some way, shape, or form, but it's just not enough evidence to actually convict someone and,
Hmm.
to seek the death penalty as well. So I'm like, if this guy gets released or, doesn't get given the death penalty, uh, I would highly suspect that something happened. It's almost like they're withholding any type of evidence they might need in order for him to still get off, free. He would probably have to fucking change his name and move out of the country uh to live, a life because I don't think he would not survive in the US if MAGA people found him and just were like, fuck this guy. Like they won't hesitate to
No, I'm sure he'll have a penthouse in Gaza once they build their new strip, on the bodies of a bunch of,
or
Palestinians.
Israel apparently because so he could definitely go there. But like if he does not get convicted or if there is not actual like tangible evidence that comes to light, I don't believe a single thing that it's this trans terror group especially.
Hmm.
So I think it's just something to watch closely and just be suspicious of. It's okay to ask questions and that sort of thing. So yeah, crazy. All right. So on that note, should we move on to the fallout of all of this happening because the dude may or may not have had a trans roommate partner. We don't know. We know nothing. Yeah. So labeling trans people as terrorists. Never in my life did I think this was gonna be a thing because I've worked with a lot of trans people as a coach and it
We're
just
dangerous.
so
All
like most
f-
of us
all
have so much
5'3" of
anxiety.
me is so dangerous.
So dangerous. Like most of us don't own guns. Most of us like have so much anxiety that we would not be able to function
I
to
don't
pull
like
this
public
off.
spaces, so
It just and no trans person or whatever would like risk putting themselves in a situation where they'd have to go to jail. I mean, the shooter's obviously not trans, so that's not a thing. Um, Unless his boyfriend is actually the one that pulled the trigger. But we don't know. We don't know. So, yeah, the Heritage Foundation, the Project 2025 architects, dropped a memo urging the FBI to create a domestic terror category, trans ideology inspired violent extremism, or TIVE, whatever. They claim it's a rising threat, citing nihilistic trans activism as justifying violence against opponents, like the Kirk case, despite zero trans link. So the document wants trans allies labeled too, calling it an increasing trend of TIVE events. It's tied to GOP pushes. Nancy Mace wanted to institutionalize trans people. Glad and PolitiFact checked no evidence of trans terrorism. It's a hoax trope with 12 false claims since 2020. Yeah, so it just tracks as manufactured fear. See if I can find that Heritage Foundation document
I was gonna
somewhere.
say, have you looked to see how far we are in that recently?
I mean like Project 2025.
Yeah.
We're still at 47%, so
Okay.
they have not been able to like get past that since I think July was the last thing that they, checked off. Uh, Here is the lovely document from the Heritage Foundation that is looking to classify transgender ideology inspired violent extremism, as a domestic terrorist group. And I'm not gonna, read through it all. I'll link it so people can go through it. But I did want to kind of like go through a few things. Uh, so, transgender ideology is a belief that wholly or partially rejects fundamental science about human sex being biologically determined before birth, binary and immutable. Transgender ideology inspired violence and extremism. This threat encompasses the potentially unlawful use or threat of force or violence, including incitement and unlawful violence in furtherance of ideological agendas derived from transgender ideology and related beliefs, including one, the belief that violence is justified against people who oppose TI, who decline to support or affirm TI, or who are silent or indifferent regarding TI. Or two, the belief that TI declining or support or affirm TI, TI meaning transgender ideology, if anyone didn't catch that, or
I thought
remaining
they were
silent.
talking about the rapper.
Or remaining silent or indifferent regarding TI. A itself constitutes a form of violence towards people who identify as any variant of transgender or gender nonconforming. B is true threat to existence of such persons. Or C poses an imminent threat to such persons' emotional, psychological, or physical safety, including through self-harm or suicide. So apparently, if you are suicidal, you're also considered a threat to yourself.
Great.
But apparently, they whatever. So, they go on about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and its latest example of a perpetrator brainwashed by corrosive and disjointed transgender ideology to carry out horrific acts of violence against innocent Americans. And this all comes without any evidence, by the way. So they're just, hastily typing away their fingers of like, oh, we got the trans people now, without any evidence. But I was looking at, they have their examples of trans shooters, right? So we're going to start with, it starts with Tyler Robinson. So September 10th, Tyler Robinson allegedly assassinates Charlie Kirk, citing ideological hatred. Let's just put a strong emphasis on allegedly here. Then we have August 27th. We had the literally like a week ago, Robin Westman attacks uh, Annunciation Catholic Church, kills two children. But here we go again. Robin Westman, like identified maybe as a woman for like a brief period of time, but had since, not identified as a woman or trans. They're not connected. I don't care if anyone says they do. They're just not. This person was very obviously unstable and had a, obsession with school shooting, and that was their motive. They wanted to be known for a school shooting. That has nothing to do with being trans. Then we got May 4th, 2025. Jared Reviza stabs six, including children, during gender transition. Like, who is that? Did I did I miss that? Where did that come from?
Haven't heard anything of that.
Me
Can we
either.
look at that?
Yeah. Let's see. How do we do that?
Because also, like, he stabbed them during gender transition. Does that just mean like just as that person existing while transitioning, or were they like taking a shot and then like their kids annoyed them and so they stabbed them?
Yeah. Let me see. So Jared, can you still see my screen? Did you see me type that in? Oh.
I just see the
Oh,
document.
just the Chrome one, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Jared Reviza, sorry. I typed that wrong. Jared Reviz. What? Are you for fucking real? So, me up here. So, this is the Jared dude. Is it just because he has long hair? Like, is this what they're going off of? Yeah. How is this related brands, people?
Yeah, I don't see anything on there.
It's fucking weird. See if I can find anything else here. Yeah, so it said Jared Reviza, a man with ties to Chillmark, who allegedly stabbed multiple people this May in Main Street and Plymouth, pleaded not guilty Thursday to local assault and battery and property vandalism charge filed back in April. There was like a domestic assault and battery. Told them his son had attacked him after a mental break, according to West. So it just sounds like someone who had like a mental breakdown. Oh, right. Whatever. So they want to blame us for that, apparently. And then we have, so April 2025, GOP office firebombed by lipstick wearing suspect. Lipstick.
Okay.
Just lipstick makes them trans. Man.
Yeah, apparently.
Just the lipstick. Okay. Then we have February 2025, Lucy Grace Nelson, arson at Tesla dealership. Okay. There's a lot of people that set shit on fire. Like, okay. June 18th, Mia Bailey kills parents, shows no remorse. Who is Mia Bailey? Can you still see my screen? All right. Well, I'm not going to look up all these people because apparently Vericide doesn't like that. And then we have March 31st, William Whitworth plans school shooting, church shooting, but did they not do it? I don't understand. March 27th, Audrey Hale kills 6 at Covenant Presbyterian School. I saw that. I just still don't classify this person as trans. Like, there's so many things that I'm just like, I don't classify these people as actually trans. I'm like, unless, like, oh, I'm gatekeeping and saying they're not trans. I'm like, come on, can we not? But then we got June 7th through 8th. To dare. Nicholas Rosky foiled attempt on Justice Kavanaugh, which, okay, that is bullshit because 1, failed attempt, but 2, this person didn't like identify as trans until like literally like I think 2 weeks ago because he's trying to get out of his sentence, out of jail or whatever. And I think they're like trying to plead insanity by being trans or some shit. I don't know. So that looks real good for us. So May 7th, Alec McKinney shoots at STEM school. September 20th, 2018, Shinoshia Mosley kills 4 at Rite Aid. And like, who are these people? And if just someone wearing lipstick counts as being trans, that's fucking bullshit.
I mean, so even if each one of these people were trans, that still is nothing compared to the crimes that are committed every single day by other minority groups or just white cis people. Like, that's such a small amount. It's just a target,
Yeah. So it also goes over things that, used by this, current potential terrorist group, cisgender, which is ridiculous because this literally is just, it's a scientific term. It's like, oh, I know why my camera died. So literally just it's differentiating between trans people and a cis person, that sort of thing. Dead naming. Gillick competence. I have not heard that term. Have you heard of that? So a term used in medical law to decide whether a child under 16 years of age is able to consent, social transitioning, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, treatments, removal of healthy sexual organs, or sterilization without the need for parental permission or knowledge. Another term used is Fraser competence. Okay, never fucking heard of these things. Misgendering, the intentional or unintentional use of the words or names that acknowledge the reality of transgender person's biological sex. Teves view misgendering as an act of actual violence, which, okay. So right to exist. Oh, we cannot say this. We cannot say we have the right to exist. So this is where things get really blurry. These are pretty, chill things. I think we do have the right to exist. So does that make me a terrorist now? Yeah. Transgenocide, which, the fucking release of this document can kind of just already put some evidence towards that. You either have a live boy or dead girl or live girl, dead boy, you choose. This is the phrase. It's commonly used to try to pressure, shame, or cause emotional distress in persons who do not support TI or affirm the reality of biological sex in people who are gender confused, especially children. And I will say I have not been a fan of that phrase because it just makes trans people look more fragile than they are. But I, commit suicide if I wasn't able to transition. I don't know. But it would make my life a whole lot harder and it would suck. You know, I'm not saying that everyone who can't transition is going to just commit suicide, but yeah, you're swimming upstream your whole life. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And I'm going to change my camera thing out quick because it's bothering me. So yeah, it just gets it's very slippery slope of what is going to be considered, making you part of a terrorist group that can get you potentially arrested or whatever. It feels like we will have to be like walking on eggshells and, watch what we say, watch how we gather, you know? So pretty shitty. And, this isn't something that is passed or has, been implemented or anything like that. But it sucks to think that, there's people out there that would like for it to. And if it does, then Jesus, time to get out of here.
Yeah. Yep. Should we move on to the next subject?
Yeah.
So, this last week, ABC yanked Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely after Kimmel's September 16th monologue ripped Republicans for politicizing Kirk's death and tying it to their own violent rhetoric. Conservatives flooded ABC with boycotts, and FCC Chair Brendan Carr threatens fines. Trump applauded it as justice. So yeah, it looks like Bob Iger and Disney has pulled the show, or it's suspended indefinitely. But it's a huge hit to free speech and to journalism and the First Amendment. So it's scary. We're seeing a lot more. We're seeing Ted Cruz of all people who is opposing this and has kind of said something which is crazy. But yeah, it's scary when not only this is Jimmy Kimmel, but we've had God, what else
Colbert.
recently? Yeah, Colbert. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's happening, and I mean, you look at Fox News, Republicans. They just had one of their newscasters talk about doing involuntary suicide to homeless people, but like he's fine, but to say that Trump didn't seem like he was too disappointed in, or he wasn't too upset about Charlie Kirk's death the next day, and then show a clip of him actually not being upset the next day, for that to be going too far is just scary.
Yeah. And it's funny because they claim that the reason they wanted Jimmy Kimmel's show to be canceled is because he's spreading misinformation, because he was saying that it wasn't someone on the left, or insinuated it was someone who's them, MAGA. And it's not misinformation if we don't actually know the motive yet. Like, we have evidence that blows, that still does not give a clear motive or like a political ideology of either the roommate or him. We do know that his family was very conservative and MAGA, but we do not know his viewpoints. And he hasn't even voted, I think, and he hasn't voted. Yeah. And so we just don't know. And how is it? I feel like if this was a lawsuit that ended up in court, they wouldn't have enough to actually say he was spreading misinformation, especially in this moment in time. If anything, why, like, what journal was it that released the trans bullet thing?
Wasn't the Wall Street Journal?
I think so. So like, that was 100% misinformation. They did backpedal and correct it later on, I believe. But we still have people like Nancy Mace, who's in Congress, Trump's son, Trump himself, spreading misinformation about the trans community in general. So it's just so hypocritical. And it's like, who is actually spreading this misinformation? Who is the biggest spreader of misinformation? Trump, Elon Musk, hands down. Like, I think there's even statistically that is factual. So it's like, okay. And yeah, I don't know. Sorry. What are your other thoughts on it?
I mean, yeah, it's just it's scary. It's another big step towards a fascist state that we're in. I know that Jimmy Kimmel was in the middle of a contract, and so this kind of violates that, and he's already suing Disney. So we'll see what happens with that. But it all, I guess, stems from is Disney's trying to purchase another company, and the FTC has to approve it. And so because the FTC is threatening them, they're trying to play nice. But I mean, I've already seen so many videos of people talking about how they are getting rid of their Disney Plus subscriptions. They're boycotting. They're not going to go to the parks. They're not going to go on a cruise. So we'll see how that affects Disney, if it's enough for them to, put their britches back on and, stand up to Trump like they did to Ron DeSantis, or if they're just going to, fall and submit completely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, I'm a big Disney person. It's kind of been a big part of my life, and so I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, people are saying basically, oh, well, you guys like cancel culture and blah, blah, blah. Look how many, they make a list of how many people like got canceled and stuff. But it's like the difference is uh, that was people socially coming together to, cancel or want these networks to pull people from the air. But this is the president, the guy who runs the country. And then even Ben Shapiro said something about this, how it's not good when the FCC is involved with the actual, like that's when it's dangerous. And that is not something the left has done. Like, when did Joe Biden cancel someone because he didn't like how someone talked about him or something? Uh, George Bush was the butt of jokes for every president has been, taken plenty of jokes, but they're supposed to be the president. They're supposed to be too busy and too focused on how to improve the country than to be worried about their egos and making it essentially like illegal to talk about, them in any other way besides a flattering way, So, yeah, frustrating. Let's see.
Yep.
And
now with TikTok being bought out by an American company, I believe, you just can't trust anything anymore.
Yeah, I saw like Murdoch was going to be involved in that, but essentially, people have already said it's basically just going to become a propaganda platform. So I know they're encouraging people to not be on it, or they're just going to use it for like surveillance or something. So I am not on TikTok much. Like, I have a profile and shit, but the most I see is when you send me things from TikTok. Otherwise,
Yeah.
not so much.
I'm going to have to find a new source so I can delete it, but I don't know what that source is going to be.
Oof, unfortunately, it might be X, just because it's like things happen in real time. And yeah, so I feel like that would be like the closest thing to it, in more of a dumpster fire way, unfortunately. But yeah. So do we want to move on to the last little thing here?
Yeah, hold on to your Bibles and praise Jesus.
You better repent now, because if not, you are missing the ride on Tuesday. So supposedly the rapture is going to take place Tuesday, September 23rd. And I always find this very hilarious, because if you do actually study the Bible or, have any knowledge of it all, it says that the second coming of Christ will come when no one expects it. So just by predicting it already means it's not going to happen. But yet we learn and we keep going through these cycles of people predicting the rapture. So a viral predictions claim the rapture hits September 23rd through 24th. Oh, it's a 2-day event, guys. So hold on to your hats.
So if you're not on the first wave, you're on the second wave?
Maybe. It's too much to grab everyone at once. So we got to, move. If you have a fast track, the latest Disney ride. So Rosh Hashanah, Feast of Trumpets. What? Based on a South African pastor's Jesus vision, dreams worldwide and astro signs like blood moons, TikTok and YouTube are flooded. Some say it's the final warning tied to current chaos, the Kirk wars and stuff. So, yeah, let's see. I don't know how this rumor got started besides this one guy who predicted it, but like, why did so many people grab onto some rando's vision and decide that he was right? I should look into that more. I don't know. I know this has been circulating on threads, but I've actually not been paying attention to threads probably like the past 3 days. So yeah, I'm gonna look into that a little bit more, but I just, I'm sorry to say the rapture is not happening on Tuesday. It'd be hilarious if I was wrong, but I don't think I am. But hey, if you think that the rapture is going to happen, just make sure you wear clean underwear, because if you ever read those Left Behind series where your body disappears but just your clothes are left behind, don't be leaving any dirty undies on the streets or anything like that. You don't want to pick them up. Change your underwear, go commando, I don't care. But hey, enjoy your rapture. I hope it happens, actually, because then we can just get rid of a lot of people that are trying to label us as terrorists, apparently.
I've seen a couple videos of people who believe that it's going to happen, and they're like selling they're giving their cars away for free. And I'm like, I'll take it. I'm going to be here. I'm good. I'll take it. I mean, it could be the end times. My wife was walking home the other day from the gym, and calls or messages me, and basically they saw a homeless woman eating a crow, like just on the side of the road, like took a chunk out of it and eating it. And I'm like, that sounds pretty end of times right there for me. So
might be the end of times for that person, because who knows what the fuck is in that crow? Like, damn. Like, you either crazy or real hungry or both. That's a lot. Yikes. Was it dead?
I don't know. All I know is my wife's traumatized, so I didn't push any more details, but they full face rip out. Yeah, it was some Game of Thrones shit right there.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah. I'd be traumatized too.
Yeah. But no, fuck. This is, I mean, yeah, honestly, at this point, I feel like that would be better than what's happening now. So, let people go where they want to go. I'm not gonna hold you back.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Trump gets taken too, we're good. But yeah,
I mean, I'm not really versed in the Bible. I did watch. I had friends who were very religious growing up, and I did watch, I think, the first Left Behind movie,
which was awful.
I don't remember any of it. Just the guy from Growing Pains was the main star. But yeah, I don't remember what happens to the people who get left behind. But at this point, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, they had to deal with a lot of shit from people just disappearing, a lot of danger, and lots of car crashes on the freeway from people disappearing and all that shit. But yeah, I can't remember. I don't think I didn't finish the series. I read the kids books back in the day, and there's so many of them. I think I just started realizing it was bullshit by the time, the series just kept going and going. I was like, I'm not going to read this anymore. But yeah, so, Christians are waiting for the second coming. Difference for Jewish people, they don't think that, Jesus has actually come yet, or like God's son. They're still waiting for the first coming because they don't believe Jesus was Christ. But yeah, when God was killed on the cross and then he rose from the dead 3 days later and then he went back into the heavens and told people he'll be back, people are still waiting for him to come back. And that's what the rapture is supposed to be. I mean, how I'm sorry, but how awful is it? Like, can you imagine just someone being like, I'll be back, and then it's been like thousands of years and they're still just like, I don't think he's coming back, guys. Like,
Should someone
like,
go
it's
check
so
on Jesus?
rude. I know he doesn't even call.
It's literally the horror movie trope when someone leaves and they're like, I'll be back, and then they're dead.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Some people were like, man, if they make Charlie Kirk rise from the dead, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. Just like, not because he's alive, because it was like, you motherfuckers fake that shit. Like you just know it would be bullshit. I almost wish he would. So
It's like the AI. It's like the AI Charlie Kirk of him talking at like
and running
a church session. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
that is so cringy that I was just like, you guys, like, I get that you're upset, but this is just a lot. So yeah, weird shit in Christianity. There's a lot of weird shit that people don't really talk about as much. But
so what should be taken away is at least the 23rd through the 24th. Just stay home. Because if it is going to be the rapture and there's going to be, car crashes, that's only 2 days of insanity. And then we've got the whole place to ourselves. Doesn't seem like an issue. No. It's better than a zombie apocalypse where you have to be terrified around every corner.
That's true. Very true. Yeah. So I guess we will see what happens. But I do not anticipate the rapture happening because it goes against the Bible specifically. So anyone thinking that this person is correct, you are going against your own beliefs. So sorry to say that. But yeah, speaking of what, but should we go into what we've been watching?
Sure. What have you been watching this week?
Top Chef. Been, enjoying the cooking aspect of things still. It's a good little thing to check out. And, cooking is just a way that I like to do things for people sometimes. And I think with everything, with the internet and how easy it is to dehumanize people and just, get pushed farther and farther away because of our differences. There's just something about food and thinking about like, oh, if we could just cook a meal for people we disagree with, I bet you if we were all actually around a dinner table together, we would not be fighting like we were if we were on Twitter, behind screens. And we've just lost all sense of, that we're human and we don't need to be fighting constantly. And yeah, I don't know how that's going to change, but not to get too deep on that. I'm just watching Top Chef, but also Afterlife. I think we're on the last episode. And oh yeah, there's a new Ruby Frankie documentary that I was watching on Amazon Prime. Worth checking out. Did you watch the first Ruby Frankie documentary? Okay, so this is another one. It's got some different perspectives, a lot of the same info, but there's also like new info that goes into a little more detail of some stuff. So it might be worth checking out if you're into that. And that's about it. How about you?
More King of the Hill. Let's see, I've been gone most of the week, so I haven't watched a lot of TV. So it's been mostly TikTok, King of the Hill. We just started watching the show Vikings. It's on Netflix and it was a History Channel show, so that's been what we've been watching. It's pretty good.
Very
Yeah.
cool. I also watch UFO documentaries to fall asleep to, basically every night. So I don't know if I'd call it watching and more just like falling asleep too. They just have that perfect cadence where it's like
Hmm.
this monotone voice. But I'll grab some things here and there. And I'm just like, save us. Is that the rapture? Like aliens coming? Because, you know, that's fine. Save us from ourselves, please.
I'd be down for that as well.
Yep. 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 All right. Anything else that we should discuss or cover?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that's happening, but we can get into that later. I feel like that's pretty much all the big stuff that's going on right now
Yeah.
that I can
I'm sure
handle
we'll
at this
have,
moment.
yeah, I'm sure we'll have more next week. I think we didn't even talk about the Epstein files, which, oof, shame on us. But we'll
That's
have to.
the other thing. So apparently there's supposed to be a vote on the 23rd about releasing the Epstein files. So if the rapture does happen,
Okay.
it's because it's a conspiracy to stop the Epstein files from getting released.
Okay. It's funny. Mission accomplished. They got people to stop talking about the Epstein files and just realized we kind of fell into that trap there. Yeah. So don't stop talking about the Epstein files, specifically on the 23rd. We'll see what happens. Some people think that the assassination was also related to that potentially to draw attention, but also because they think Israel is involved with Epstein and a lot of powerful people are involved that we know. I've been following this independent journalist. Her name is Amber. Let me. Anyone who wants to follow her because she has been talking about all the things that people aren't, and she's not letting up about the Epstein files. It's like basically almost solely what she is focusing on. But her name is Amber Woods, and it's at Amber Woods 100 on X, or it's actually Amber Speaks Up is like her username. So yeah, follow her for all the Epstein stuff. She's just play by play, going through what is happening, talking about the victims that she's been speaking with, and how there's like 20 people that they could name, but they are too afraid to. So they want it to be released so that they don't have to be, because they're afraid, understandably. So yeah, follow that person. Stay up on the Epstein files. Don't let that slip, you know, don't let them just bury that and slip it under the
Yeah.
rug. And yeah, that's about it. So, all right. So, thanks everyone for watching and listening. Feel free to leave us any comments on your thoughts and theories around the Kirk shooting and what you think about, all the trans terrorists and shit. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.